What is this one sexual fact everyone would benefit knowing? Having stamina is not necessary or always wanted. Some women get sore after a short period of time and the experience is no longer enjoyable for them. On the flip side, extended foreplay can be used so that your partner can climax during intercourse. Things are much more enjoyable if you have sex before you go out to dinner. No bloating, no upset stomachs, etc. Also, baby wipes make great before/after sex wipes. Go pee after sex. Especially you ladies. It'll keep your pipes flushed, which will cut down on UTIs. This is the trick urologists hate. Getting a handy while doing 75 miles per hour on the freeway could be hazardous. Talk to your partner about what they like. Don't assume they enjoy what your favorite porn star does. Sticking your fingers in someone. Wash your hands and clip and file your nails first. Most antidepressants will not affect erection, but will make it very, very hard to come. For some reason, you just can't get there easily on antidepressants. If you can't afford a condom, you definitely can't afford to have kids. Do not try to do anal without discussing it with your partner first. Nobody likes surprise anal, especially without lube. For good anal, the receiver needs to be relaxed and comfortable, preferably. They've also had an orgasm. This tip is for women. It helps open them up so you can get in easier and pump more vigorously without it hurting. Start slow, use lots of lube, and listen to what they tell you. It also might help the receiver be more comfortable if they prep beforehand with an enema. How to clean your ass for anal sex. I have never done the full colon cleaning, and have no idea if it's medically safe. Eating lots of fiber so you have those glorious no wipe needed poops is prob a better idea. Also, pressuring someone to have anal is a good way to make sure they don't enjoy it. Also, pressuring someone into any form of sex makes you a horrible person. If you feel desensitized from condoms, try putting a little bit of lube in the condom on your dick before putting the condom on. A lot more fun. Not necessarily sexual, but vaginal discharge can be so acidic that it bleaches your undies. Nobody tells you that, but it's normal. Many STDs can also be caught non-sexually. Hepatitis and HIV are far more likely to spread via intravenous drugs. Girls. Male sexual pleasure doesn't end the second he starts coming. The next 20 seconds are actually when you can give him the very best pleasure. So keep him. Guys. Trim your nails before pleasing a woman unless she wants to be cut and scratched. There is now a vaccine for HPV. Get it ASAP, as HPV is usually asymptomatic until it causes cancer. For girls mostly to know this. If we can't get it up, it's not you, we are either tired, drunk or both. It's not you, trust me, we want to so much but can't. Don't be offended if somebody steers you in the right direction. Learn from it and apply it to your next time or next partner. Enjoy it rather than focusing on what you're doing. I have to focus on chairs and math equations so it lasts more than a minute and 47 seconds. I know this one gets said a lot, but it's important. If she says don't stop, do not stop. Don't try to get creative and make it better. Just do exactly what you're doing. Don't use 2 condoms. The friction makes it less safe than just wearing 1 condom. Rub some sriracha over the inner one. When she starts screaming, you know that you're running on spare tire. Communication is key. Key is a minor. You should keep your key far away from a minor. If a minor is what triggers you, I reckon you should keep your D flat. Learn how to use your hands and your mouth, tongue, as well as your equipment. Oral, manual stimulation can be just as intense as sex. Put a pillow under her butt. If your vagina feels uncomfortably tight or feels like it burns a bit during penetration, masturbation, inserting a tampon, or a gynecological exam, then something is wrong and you can actually get that issue fixed. You might have vulvodynia or vaginismus, which can be treated with pelvic floor therapy or medication. Pain can happen because of stress or lack of lube or just bad luck. But if it's reoccurring, get that checked out. Too many women are told to suffer instead of just getting the medical treatment they deserve. It took me too long to realize that my pain was not normal, and when I told my doctor that I had consistently painful sex, She brushed me off and told me nothing was wrong with me. It wasn't noteworthy that I was in pain and nothing needed to be addressed. I had to argue with her and insist on a referral. Ugh. Luckily the next doctor I talked to was actually helpful, and 90% of the pain is gone now with treatment. All these comments talking about how sometimes guys can't get it up and it's okay, but forget to mention that girls can have the same problem. It's okay if it doesn't always get as wet as it used to. It doesn't mean you're broken, and there's also no shame in not wanting to have sex. If you aren't feeling it, then you aren't feeling it, and you don't owe sex to anybody. Don't be afraid to be vocal, and I don't just mean dirty talk. If you're enjoying yourself, I wanna know. I don't need full-on pornstar dialogue, but gasps of pleasure and oh, wow, when I'm slobbing on his knob get me so hype and so turned on. Sex is the epitome of nonverbal communication, but sighs and moans and gasps just heighten the intensity. I'm too late for this to be seen, but in case someone does, here's some advice from an old guy who has seen some things. Anyone who is communicating about a sexual preference or request to a partner feels exposed. Really exposed. They aren't just listening to your words. They are watching your body language and facial expressions. It's a raw place to be in where you can shame someone without even trying to. It doesn't have to be some off-the-wall fetish that's the subject. It could be asking for more oral or wanting to try a new position. If you care about the partner, listen and don't make them feel ashamed. If it's not your thing, be gentle. Tell them that it's a hot idea but it's just not for you. Give them an alternative that will start a dialogue. Sex builds like a tornado when you're on the same page and fizzles when you aren't. Do both of you a favor and be a caring listener. And eat ass. Always eat clean ass. It feels good, man. Peeing and cleaning up after sex are both really important. It really does help you and your partner avoid UTIs, and cleaning up with a quick rinse leave you feeling and smelling a little more refreshed. Anything going inside of you should have a flared base. Wash your hands before sex, especially if you are going to finger your woman. A lot of times because of spontaneous sex, us men and even women don't think about all the germs we are putting in a very sensitive and potentially problematic area. Whenever I would start seeing a new person, I always made it a point to explain that in my mind the first few 1 to 5 times we have sex are like meet and greet practice sessions. For one thing, there is no way to know what a person likes from you the first time you have sex, and they don't know how you operate either, so it takes a lot of the pressure of performance off the table. It should be an exploration of each other's desires and preferences. Expecting sex to be the bomb the first time is silly. It's a journey. Have fun with it. I guess it's not a fact, but it's helped me and many of my partners. If you're doing something and your partner starts saying yes or right there or basically anything encouraging, it means keep doing exactly what you're doing at exactly the same pace you're doing it, until the encouragement stops, subsides, or they come. May cause pregnancy. Kids, wrap it before you tap it. Follow your partner's directions and you'll get them there much more easily. I first read parents' directions. Needless to say, I was confused. Okay mom, I'm in. What next? Erections can have a direct correlation to sexual desire, but not necessarily. Keep in mind that the existence of it depends entirely on blood flow. One may be horny as all hell and overflowing with sexual desire for their partner, but maybe for an unrelated reason it ain't working. Knowing this can help both parties avoid frustration and insecurities. He might really like you, but Jimbo the deekworm gets temperamental sometimes. Vagina farts are normal and nothing to be embarrassed about. Also, should have put the serious tag on this one. Don't skip foreplay. If a male clownfish's partner is killed, they'll have a sex transition and then mate with their kid. It's the dark side of Finding Nemo. Mine. Treat my balls like they were delicate little baby bunnies yearning for hugs and caresses. Treat my dick like it was a $2 whore you caught stealing $10. Your first time is probably gonna suck. I hope she will. If you press the G-spot and the clit at the same time, it takes a screenshot. You can get pregnant with the pull-out method. Over half of my friends who have kids can attest to this. If you're in a relationship longer than a year, there will be times when sex is boring. feels like a chore, isn't as interesting or fun, you have to work at it. That goes against common sense because you would think it gets easier, but most people start to take it for granted. You gotta find ways to excite each other, stay committed to foreplay, and make time for it. Sex tends to get messy. Being prepared makes the after-sex parts so much smoother. When my S.O. and I first started having car sex, I made it a habit to always carry water, condoms and wet wipes, baby wipes but with no baby pictures on the package. I can do without looking at a baby's face when I'm post-coital. When we were done, we would hydrate, talk while we cleaned ourselves, or cleaned each other. Don't yank on the titties like you playing the slots. Sometimes a dude just can't bust a nut. It's not his partner's fault, it just happens. Sex is something you do with a girl, not to her. While the common conception is that guys don't last a second on the first time, nervousness can actually make them not orgasm at all. If you use condoms, do the oral first, not after. I'm sure at least one of you will find out why the hard way. You don't always have to her hard, in fact sometimes that's not right to do. And fucking give her some smooches too. If your partner drops hints that they want to have sex, either have sex or tell them you're not in the mood for sex. Don't just pretend you don't notice the hints they want to bone. If you don't want to have sex, that's fine, but don't leave them hanging either way. You can't smell anal porn. Knowledge is power. Educate yourself on your preferred sex's anatomical features and you'll learn about every part that can make them feel good. And on that account, since sex is such an important part of adult life and relationships, invest hours into that, not minutes. Also, France is bacon. Caution, if done unprotected, may result in 18 years of extreme torment.